Hi, I am Pratim Ranjan Bose, and you are watching Podcast with Pratim, presented by Iravati Research and Communication Center, or IRCC. In this episode, we will discuss Bangladesh. I have with me Professor Lieutenant Colonel Nazmul Ahsan Kalimullah from Bangladesh. Dr. Kalimullah is the founder and chairman of National Election Observation Council, or JANIPOP. He is also a former vice chancellor of the Begum Rokeya University in Bangladesh. Sir, this is a follow-up of what you have hinted in the last episode that was only 2 days ago. You hinted at a tussle between Yunus administration and the army. Yesterday, we saw a raid that army had asserted its position. Now, just adding for the viewers that there has not been any official clarification, but these reports are widely carried in media in Bangladesh. So we assume that they are, we are taking them for granted. Couple of issues were reported. Apparently, army is expressed its concern about corridor. They want early election, and what they want the most is that they are fatigued having handling the civic responsibilities for quite some time now, since August last year, and they want the army to return to the barracks. This is, I believe, quite a general expectation of army across the world, unless those who want to enjoy power directly. The big question is, what next? Can we expect Dr. Yunus to accept army's views and conduct a quick election? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. No wonder this type of stalemate will occur, because in a way they are of two different type of stakeholders. Professor Yunus and his team, and a lot of them were educated in the West and also lived in the West. I don't want to enter into that debate whether they are dual citizens or have permanent residency in abroad, but they have their own axe to grind, and our armed forces, they are oath bound to adhere to the Constitution, i.e., rule of law and stability of the country. So, as they're regarded as the lender of the last resort and symbol of sovereignty, they had to assert at one point. So, yesterday, while the Chief of Army Staff, Postal General Waker-Uz-Zaman, he addressed the officers formally, and he came up with this resolve and also received wide acclamation from his undercommands that election, it must be held in the stipulated time, and 1st January 2026 should be the cutoff date. And even after the election, the armed forces are ready to cooperate and collaborate with the post-election government so that law and order situation remains up to the mark. And, they knew it very well, whatever is discussed in the confines of their congregation, it will be featured in the social media. So, Facebook, Twitter, and other sort of conduits flooded with what they have discussed and what they have agreed upon. So that's how we know that all the points which were discussed in the meeting is now open secret. And immediately after the official address was over, or simultaneously, perhaps at the again, the concerned security advisor, ministerial status, Mr. Kalimullah, who happens to be the high representative reference to Rohingya affairs, that he, along with Mr. Shafiq, who happens to be the spokesman of the Honorable Chief Advisor, they convened a press conference. And there they asserted that nothing happened with reference to this corridor issue. They didn't discuss this issue with anyone.
Sir, if I may interject.
Yes, please.
Can we expect the corridor issue to end here? I mean, that the corridor that was proposed, humanitarian corridor that was proposed from Bangladesh to between Bangladesh and Myanmar, is not going to take off. Is that the situation? Because I watched the press conference yesterday of the National Security Advisor, and it was not very clear as to what is the stance that the government has been taking. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Rahman is a very shrewd and astute career diplomat. So he knows what to say, where to say, and when to say the thing he wants to come up with. So I'm not surprised with his comments, And since the superpower is adamant, I would say, to materialize the scheme, i.e. the corridor, by hook and crook, they will try to sort of carve out the channel in one form or another. But in order to do so, the cooperation and collaboration of the armed forces of Bangladesh is crucial. And, that's a stumbling block. But again, any country which stands in the way of superpower chess game, it's almost like uphill struggle. I have every respect for our armed forces. In the process, General Waker-Uz-Zaman has emerged as the patriot.
Okay.
And he's son of the soil. So, public opinion is in favor of him, not in favor of Professor Yunus and Mr. Rahman, and for that matter, the international forces behind them.
Okay. Okay. So what I understand is that the tussle is not going to end here. Is that so?
I don't think so. It's just the beginning.
Okay. Meanwhile, sir, the government, I saw, I read that they are going to give some very fat dearness allowance to the government staff, and which generally is, I should read it as an indication of election. Normally, many governments try to do such things ahead of election. But the political support group behind this this administration, namely the NCP and Jamaati Islami. So we know that they were not in favor of an election or early election. I mean, let me put it this way, they were not in favor of election so soon. That was known. Now, on top of that, there came this issue of July Charter. And I was reading an interview that appeared in a paper in Bangladesh today, where Professor Ali Riaz, who is in charge of this constitution and all these things, reforms, etc. So he said that I'm reading out in Bengali. জুলাই সনদে থাকবে বড় ধরনের পরিবর্তনগুলো, কিভাবে রাষ্ট্র পরিচালনা হবে, কিভাবে নির্বাচন হবে, কোন পদ্ধতির সরকার থাকবে, বারবার একই ব্যক্তি কি রাষ্ট্রের প্রধানমন্ত্রী বা রাষ্ট্রপতি হবেন, এ সবকিছুই থাকবে জুলাই সনদে। এটা সংবিধানের বাইরের বিষয়, এসব নিয়েই জুলাই সনদ হবে, সব দলের সম্মতি থাকতে হবে এখানে। For my audience, let me put it in English. The July Charter, which is you can say the proclamation of revolution kind of, which these students, quote unquote, let's put the word student leaders who had acquired power. That would be better to understand, because these are not students anymore. So they wanted to bring out a proclamation for revolution, and now the person who is in charge of, who had been in charge of drafting the constitutional reforms, he is saying that the proclamation of dividend, he has distinguished between constitution and the proclamation of revolution, quote unquote, and is saying that it will handle the bigger issues. And that includes what? How the state will be run, how the election will be held, what kind of government, like, whether it is a Westminstership model or what model, and whether the same person can be re-elected as prime minister or president. And these all will be dealt with in that charter. Sir, my question to you, if you have such kind of a charter, and which has to be agreed by all parties, why do you need a constitution? Because this is the mother of constitution, nothing else. Now, will political parties and army accept such a thing? Over to you, sir.
Well, I believe that such proclamation might lead to sort of breakdown of this present arrangement. It may appear that they are reluctant bedfellows, and in such a circumstance, we might see a second revolution or counter-revolution, and that may pave the way for destabilization in the process. Because this July proclamation almost certain is going to set the rules of the game for politics in future Bangladesh. And we are in a crossroad, so almost a turning point. Let's wait and see what happens.
Just a quick response on today. Human Rights Watch has issued they have questioned they wanted the review of laws and protect human rights. It's saying the latest report says that review laws and protect human rights standards. So interim government's arbitrary targeting of former ruling party supporters fails accountability. So it dealt with this whole issue. Now, we know that half of the population, 30-40% of the people electorate were supporting Awami League. Even if that is reduced, it shouldn't be less than a quarter of the population. So normally, when you talk about the constitution and how things will be run, you involve everyone. So there can be various ways to involve people. Now, here, and that also needs kind of a sanctity on the people who are doing that. Uh, so how do you look at that? Just quick remarks.
You see, I told you that we are at crossroads, and democracy, what we understand, refers to plural space. If the space is extended to the fullest extent, we have ideal democracy. If it is reduced, then we cannot say we ended up having liberal democracy. At the moment, we have, as stated by Western scholars, that we have illiberal democracy. But in the process, we may end up having very little space for practicing democracy. It will be a flawed appearance of democracy, which is not expected.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining. We had a problem with the visuals, so but you raised the issue in the last podcast, and I thought it is very important to take your views before we, I take views of other people in Bangladesh, from politics to other professions. Thanks so much for coming over here.